Hi, today on Vivamb we're going to be making a meatloaf. So what we're going to need for that is we're going to need ground beef. We're going to need frozen vegetables, garlic, and onions. These are the ingredients of our meatloaf. You're going to weigh the vegetables together, and that will be 1 portion of vegetables for whatever portion you're allowed on your plan, and the same thing with the meat. So the portion size that you see me making will not be necessarily the size of your meal. You're going to take the peel off of the onion and then dice the onion up into little pieces. And we're cutting up our onion. You can see how fresh this onion is. See how juicy it is? And this is just a regular, you can use any kind of onion you want. Alright, I'm using these because they're extremely mild onions. Just a kitchen onion. If you go to the grocery store and you get confused, just pick up a white onion. They'll come in a bag of onions. Just take a bag of onions. Don't worry, don't get the red ones. You can start experimenting later, but for right now, just get a plain white onion. So you can see, I've cut the onions up into little pieces. All right, now I'm going to add the meat. I think I showed this to you before. These are garlic. Here in Europe, I get them in a little box. But if you can't find these little ones, the nice thing about them is that you don't have to, peel it. You can get something like this. All right, this is garlic, and you would break the garlic apart, and you would take one of these and you would use one of these. All right, so use one of these or find these little garlic cloves that look like that. So you can see right here that I put the garlic in, so there's garlic. Now I'm going to take my vegetables. And remember, measure the vegetables to your serving size. So if you're a guy or you're heavier, you're probably going to have more vegetables than a girl. I'm making this meal for a couple people, so I'm going to put in vegetables just for demonstration. Right. And remember, you would weigh this, your onion, and the garlic all together, because those are all vegetables. So you would weigh them all together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be mixing this with my meatloaf. So I need to grind it up. This is my hand tool. This is a hand mixer. See, it's a hand mixer, and you can put the mixer part here to like puree your soup, or it goes here into this thing to chop up stuff. That was loud, wasn't it? Okay, so here are all my vegetables, and they're all chopped up into little pieces. This is a good thing to do for kids too, because you can give them their vegetables without them suffering. But this is an easy way also for you to make a meal, and then you can, I'm not putting any breadcrumbs into the mixture because I'm not putting an egg in there. When you're doing healthy eating, the way the metabolic balance does to keep your metabolism level, they suggest only having 1 protein per meal. So I can't put an egg in there because I already have meat. And I want to be able to give myself the option of using bread as a sandwich for the meatloaf in case you want to have it for lunch. Just be the meat, onions, garlic, and then the vegetables. So I'll stick the vegetables in there. And then you'll mix it up. As you can see, the vegetables have been mixed in thoroughly, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add to this mixture seasoning. Okay, so into this mixture I'm going to put salt and pepper. Then I'm going to put coriander in, and you can put fresh coriander if you want, which is it's also called cilantro. And now I'm putting oregano in, because I like that. This is what a fresh basil plant looks like. You can see, and it's really smells really strong. It's beautiful. So I'm going to put this in there also. Since I'm going to be putting it inside the meatloaf, as you can see, I've taken the stock. I use everything. I use the stalk and the leaves. When I lived in Singapore, I got in the habit of using scissors in the kitchen, and I love it. So I use scissors for everything because they do that. If you go to the stands in Singapore, they use scissors to cut up the food, and I think it was a great idea. So I keep a pair of scissors specifically for that in the kitchen. I have a couple, but this is my kitchen scissors. I don't use them for anything else. So you see now I've cut that up into little pieces, and you can make it even smaller if you want. And then I mix that into the food. Once it's thoroughly mixed, you're going to put it into a dish, and this is the dish I'm going to use today. You need something square or rectangle, something like this. All right, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to buy something special, but you do need something that can go in the oven, because this is what you're going to be putting the meatloaf into the oven. So I'm going to form it in here into a loaf. There you go, there's my meatloaf. I have formed it into the shape that I'm going to use on a piece of bread. And when you're on metabolic balance, you can use, you can eat sourdough rye bread. So I would suggest thinking about that for. All right, let's take it out and see what it looks like. Ooh, look at that, that looks really yummy. Let's cut into it. Now we're going to make a sandwich. We have the 2 pieces of sourdough rye bread, which you can have on metabolic balance. And then we're going to take a chunk of our meat. You want to take 2 chunks. Alright, and you can make yourself a sandwich. You know, the bread is optional, you don't have to have that. But that's one way of taking your meal to work.